Welcome, everybody. This is Swallow Your Whistle. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about the NBA and the beginning of the offseason. We're going to be grading some of the top teams' moves in the NBA. And how are you doing, Nick?
Doing all right. How are you doing, Daniel?
I'm doing good. So let's get right into it.
Sounds good.
So the first team we're going to talk about is Boston Celtics.
Okay, let's give a quick rundown of just some of the pieces that they acquired in this window.
They added Enes Kanter, Vincent Poirier, my boy Kemba Walker, but they ended up losing Aaron Bain via trade, PJ Dozier, Jonathan Gibson, Al Horford, the free agency of Philly, RJ Hunter, Kyrie Irving, Marcus Morris, Terry Rozier, and Gushon Yabusele.
Okay. That wasn't that bad. I would not have even tried.
They also cut. Oh no, wait, no, that's right. They did cut Gushon Yabusele. Yeah. Well, interesting offseason for them, to say the least.
Yeah, that was much actually not as interesting as their actual season, but they tried to live up to it.
Well, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I still can't believe they signed Enes Kanter. I honestly don't understand some of the moves they made.
What's your problem? Tell me what's your problem with
Okay, they traded Aaron Bain away.
Yeah.
And signed Enes Kanter. That's my issue. Why?
Why not? What's the deal with that?
He doesn't play defense. Okay, Enes Kanter was actually pretty good in the playoffs. But if he plays like in the playoffs, it's an okay deal. But I don't think he's gonna play like that again.
You don't think that he's gonna play some defense?
Not a chance. Not a chance. I don't understand where the defense is coming on this team, to be honest with you. With Kemba and Enes Kanter.
I mean, we got Jaylen Brown, we got Marcus Smart.
Maybe Taco Fall.
Tatum can play defense on his day too. And Kemba, I'm sure Kemba can play defense.
No, Kemba's not a great defender. Below average would be nice.
Like, not even if he tries, because some guys are bad at, some guys just don't try on defense.
I think he's just bad at defense.
Really?
He's a great offensive player and he makes up for the defense, but he's just bad at defense.
That's tough. All right, what's your grade for them then?
So to run it down quick, we're grading them A to F.
Right.
So my grade for the Celtics was a C.
C?
A C. Man. They lost their two biggest pieces, Kyrie Irving, and honestly, they lost three of their bigger pieces. Obviously, Kyrie Morris was probably one of their better players last year. Yeah. And their biggest piece was Al Horford, and they lost him to a division rival.
Right.
And not including they lost Baines was a good piece for them. Rozier 2 years ago was a good piece, not this past year. Mm-hmm. He tried, but
he tried. Well, okay.
I like the Kemba signing.
Okay, but the thing is, would you consider those like pieces that it was their fault that they lost? Maybe Marcus Morris. I think maybe they could have convinced Marcus Morris to lose. That might have been in their control. But Kyrie definitely, I don't even like that. That seemed like it was everyone's favorite.
I think Kemba coming in for Kyrie is a good replacement. I think they did an amazing job with that.
So that nullifies the Kyrie leaving then.
Yeah, obviously. But them losing Al Horford and then replacing him with Enes Kanter, I don't know. That's a big step back.
Who would you replace Enes Kanter? Or who do you think they should have got instead?
Al Horford. They should not
have found a way to keep Al Horford.
Yeah, they should have kept Al Horford. Their best.
Wasn't he a free agent or was it a trade?
Yeah, he opted out and because he wants to win a championship. But if they signed Kemba Walker, I'm pretty sure they could have convinced Al Horford to say.
You think?
Well,
from Al Horford's perspective,
it's either that or the locker room's that bad that he had no interest in playing even with Kemba Walker.
Right.
Because Kemba and Kyrie are similar. Obviously Kyrie's a better defensive player. About the same offensively. Kyrie's a little better. Mm-hmm. But it's not that far of offensively. Kemba's still an all-star guard in the league. The locker room must be that bad for Al Horford to be like, nah, I don't want to play with that all-star Kemba Walker and Jason Tatum and borderline all-stars and Jason Tatum and maybe Jaylen Brown if he takes a step. I do like the draft. Lanford was a good pick. Carson Edwards was a steal for them.
Mm.
Mm,
I give their if for me, I would give them a B.
a B.
I'd give them a B. I don't know what else they could have done. Kyrie left. Al Horford is gone. Like I don't like they can't force the man to stay. I think with all the pieces left on the table and with all the trades happening like probably before the actual opening day of the trade scene, they scrambled and they got. I agree with you. Ennis Cancer is kind of iffy, but based on they're doing it, I'm sure they're looking based on the last playoffs, and
See,
they're looking to replicate that.
see, I don't have an issue with Ainz Cantor as a signing. I have an issue with him being your replacement for Al Horford and Aaron Baines.
Okay.
Like if Ainz Cantor was coming off the bench for them, great deal.
I just don't know who else they could have got.
Instead of Ainz Cantor?
Yeah. Who are they gonna bring over there?
I see. To me, you do whatever you can to keep Al Horford, and if he says no, you don't trade. You don't trade Aaron Baines to Phoenix. I don't know why they traded Aaron Baines away if they weren't. If they were gonna sign Kemba Walker and still try to compete for a title, why would you trade away Aaron Baines when he can play defense on your team? And then you have Cantor coming off the bench, where Cantor should be coming, where he could feast off second line, like the second rotation players.
Who did Who did they get for Aaron Baines? Do you know?
Let me. I don't want to speak out of term, so I'll do a quick Google.
Well, I mean, in my opinion, though, I think that like okay, Ennis, I get what you're saying about defense, but a lot of Brad Stevens the Celtics and their defense comes not only from just I think the individual players, but I think they can make do with the team play, the team defense that they have. They have Jaylen Brown, they have Jason Tatum, and they have Marcus Smart. Like those guys, if you have those three guys in a lineup, that's a solid defense.
Yes, but you're gonna have to make up not only for Ainz Cantor, you're gonna have to make up for Kemba too, and maybe Gordon Hayward goes back another step in the right direction, but you don't know. He could be a hole on defense too. I would be going at. They have some questionable spots in the rotation, to me, and them losing Al Horford is a big loss to me. Like it's an unbelievable loss. It's a worse loss than them losing Morris and Irving combined, to me.
I agree with you, but I don't see what else they could have done. And I think like they did the best that they could. Like they're not going to get another defensive presence like Al Horford in the league, but they're going to rely on their team. They're going to rely on their team defense. And we look at what Ennis provided in the playoffs last year. It was a good defensive display, and obviously we know about his offensive talents. So I think we look at that and we look at their ability to defend as a team under Brad Stevens' system. I think they're willing to take their bet. I think they did the best that they could. That's why I give it a B.
So for Aaron Baines, they traded away a first-round pick with Aaron Baines for a 2020 first-round pick. It was basically a salary dump, so they can sign Ainz Cantor and Kemba.
Yeah.
It was interesting. I don't know.
Well, all right.
So you give the stay in their division. To compare what other teams did in the division, the Nets, to me, did a fantastic job. They brought in Wilson Chandler, Nicholas Clayton, Kevin Durant, who won't play this year, obviously, but still next year. Kyrie Irving, an old Boston player. DeAndre Jordan, Tayron Prince, and Garrett Temple.
Yep.
But they lost Damari Carroll, Alan Krabbe, Ed Davis, Jared Dudley, Tavon Graham, Rondé Hollis Jefferson, and Shabazz Napier, and obviously D'Angelo Russell and Allen Williams. To me, I thought they made some great moves in the offseason to add around their team. Yeah. Obviously, they got 2 stars. Like, not a lot of teams gets 2 stars unless you're the Nets and the Clippers.
Yeah, exactly.
In free in one offseason alone.
What would you give them?
Oh, I would give them an A+, honestly.
A+?
A+. They added 2 stars, maybe the best player in the game if he comes back and he's the same. That's the only question mark I give on their offseason.
See, here's why I don't know. I was looking at it differently. For me, I would give them. I'll give them a B+. But and the reason that too is because I don't know if what they did to actually get Kyrie and Kevin Durant. I feel like they just agreed to go there. Like I don't know if it's what I will give the Nets though is that they obviously made a call. It was because of their play and the presentation they put on during the regular season and even in the playoffs. They put up a fight there too. They made it an obvious place where people or players, would want. It's a destination for players to go instead of the supposed mecca of the basketball world, the Knicks.
Oh,
and it convinced them to it convinced them to choose the Nets over the Knicks. But my thing is, I don't know how much that has to do with actual trade moves. Like if we're looking at what they did in terms of how much they improved their team in a general standpoint, yeah, I would give them. Like I would agree with you, but I don't know how much that has to do with the organization and their decisions per se. You know, like
well,
how
to me, after they crippled themselves by getting Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett and just gifting the Celtics a million first-round picks.
Yeah.
They obviously came from nothing. They literally dug themselves a hole that no one thought they would be able to get out of. And they drafted well, getting assets and cleared cap space for this offseason to do this.
Yeah.
This was the plan to have 2 max slots and get 2 stars.
Okay.
So for me, they got DeAndre Jordan 2, which is questionable because I think Jared Allen might be better than him.
Mm-hmm.
So that will be interesting to see the split, but he might be good for Jared Allen. Jared Allen might grow under him. Mm. They drafted LeVert. They got Harris on waivers, and both those players have worked out great. LeVert's a great player. Dinwiddie's homegrown, great player off the bench for them.
Yeah.
To me, they put themselves here to get these players.
Like they made themselves an attractive destination. I agree with you there.
Well, they're New York without having to worry about the media, right?
Yeah.
It's literally the best thing for a type of player, people like Irving and Durant.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, unless the New York media shifts 20 minutes to go to the Barclays,
which I doubt. Yeah. But it could happen. Obviously, it could happen, right?
Yeah. I'll have to wait and see. I mean, there's not much really to say about the Nets.
Well, the reason I gave them the A+ is because the way they handled the offseason. They put themselves in this position.
Yeah.
And they did it. Like a lot of teams put themselves in these positions, like the Knicks and the Suns. Like they clear cap space and then they don't get a big name. The Lakers cleared cap space. They traded for a big name, but they didn't get the big name in free agency. The Nets are the only one that actually did it. So you got to give them you got to give it to them for that. To me, it doesn't matter that they went there because it's New York, but without the media. They went there. They agreed to go there. So that's you got to give them some like the actual credit for them actually doing it and putting blocks around the team so they would actually consider them going there.
I would give credit for making themselves an attractive destination, but I definitely think that a lot of the minds, like for KD and Kyrie, I think that KD would have followed Kyrie, but if we're looking at Kyrie, his mind was made up already. Before we've heard about him talking about going specifically to the Nets. So I don't know how much convincing they had to do on that side.
Did you not think the Lakers were a realistic opportunity for him?
No.
To play with LeBron again?
I think
that was a realistic opportunity when they got it after they got Anthony Davis.
Not at all. I think I agree from a basketball standpoint because we already know Kyrie and LeBron have won a championship in probably one of the most spectacular fashions. But Kyrie doesn't want to go play with LeBron. Like he made this huge fiasco about leaving.
They made up.
Yeah, but they made up as friends. But in terms of a professional and a legacy standpoint, Kyrie doesn't want to be known as the guy who went back to his dad. Like that's not no one. You can already see the memes. Kyrie doesn't want that. Kyrie cares obviously about what people think about him. You say anything bad about him, he starts getting upset. So. And the Nets is his home. He's always talking about going back to New York or to that area. So that made more sense to me. Definitely not the Lakers. I I think everyone would love to see Kyrie on the Lakers, but from a basketball standpoint, but just not from I don't think it would make Kyrie happy at all.
Well, I think, do you think if Durant went somewhere else, he would have signed with the Nets? I don't think so. Like, if Durant stayed say Durant stayed in Golden State, do you think he would have just went, oh, okay, I'll go to the Knicks or I'll go to the Lakers?
I honestly would have bet. I still would have bet the Nets. I definitely don't see. Maybe not the Nets, but definitely no chance in hell the Lakers. I don't see the Lakers happening at all. It just wouldn't make sense. It would not make sense to me, anyways. Maybe I agree with you. If Durant wasn't on board with him going to the Nets, maybe they would have agreed to go somewhere else. So I will give you that. But I still think that the Nets didn't have to do much convincing for Kyrie. The opportunity was there. The space was there. Durant was okay with going there. It worked out. But the Nets did put themselves in the position better than anyone else just because obviously they've shown that they run their franchise in such an appealable way.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on because we're gonna. I think we could be on this topic forever.
Too long.
We could be here forever talking about how interesting the Nets moves were.
Yeah,
let's jump over to the Indiana Pacers, who had a pretty decent offseason for themselves.
I like their moves.
They brought in Brogdon from Milwaukee via sign and trade. Jeremy Lamb, T.J. McConnell, T.J. Warren, and then they drafted Brian Brolin. And then they lost, unfortunately. They lost some big pieces to me.
Yeah.
Boban was Bogdanovic, big piece lost to me. Darren Collison retired to go via Jehovah's Witness.
Sounds
questionable.
Happy for him.
Yeah. Tyreek Evans banned for drugs for 2 years. I guess you got to do you.
Nothing to say there.
Yeah. Corey Joseph left for Sacramento. To me, pretty decent loss. Wesley Matthews left. Decent loss there as well. Kylo Quinn, decent backup center. Davon Reed. Thaddeus Young to Chicago, which was another veteran presence for them.
Yeah.
So they did lose out on a lot, but they picked up some good pieces.
For sure.
For me, sure. I thought they recovered pretty decently. I gave them a B.
Yeah, I can agree with you on that one for sure, Daniel. Yeah.
Like bringing in Brogdon and Jeremy Lamb, great. TJ Warren's a great player too. Like they're Brogdon and Oladipo off the bench. Brogdon and Oladipo together is going to be a great backcourt. And then you have Jeremy Lin coming off the bench. To me, the only issue is TJ. Like I don't know how good TJ McConnell is going to be there. It'll be interesting to see because he kind of fell out of the rotation in Philadelphia after playing pretty well there a couple of years ago. So, and backup point guard position is pretty important. It'll be interesting to see what they do if they only bring in McConnell with Oladipo and have McConnell be a spot-up shooter.
Yeah.
And Oladipo handle the ball duties. Like, or they maybe they have to bring in McConnell only with someone else. Like him and Brogdon have to be together, or him and Oladipo, and then Jeremy Lin's just filling in there.
So by the way, Oladipo, he's still injured. Is he going to be back for next season?
He should be back, but I don't know if I don't think he'll be back by the beginning of the year. I think he's going to miss a little bit.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, no, this honestly just seems like just making little bits of upgrades here and there while sacrificing maybe a little bit of depth. But I think overall this is a positive. It seems like it's a positive trade for the Pacers. Definitely getting a player like Brogdon to team up with Victor Oladipo for the backcourt. I think that's going to be. We already know what Brogdon can do, and teaming up with another guy like Oladipo, I think it'll be good for the Pacers. Pacers are obviously a hardworking team. I don't know how much of the pieces they lost might have made an impact there. Definitely losing Bogdanovic was a hit to them.
Well, Darren Collison's a pretty big hit too. He shot great percentages from three, ridiculous percentages over the last year. He shot his highest percentage from three in his career.
And I like Thaddeus Young as well.
Yeah,
So
Thaddeus Young was a great presence for them. Well, to
yeah.
me, Sabonis is a good player. You should be able to pick up Thad Young's
hmm
production. It's just who's going to replace Sabonis's production off the bench.
I can't look at this and say it was a bad trade. Obviously, it wasn't like it didn't hurt them, but I don't know. I don't know if it did anything towards putting them any higher. I mean, we have to see what Victor. We always have to see how well Oladipo recovers next year. Maybe we'll have to look at them the year after to see any major improvement. But they did show a lot of heart in the previous season, clinching the fifth spot when everyone thought they were just not even going to make the playoffs. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I definitely agree with a B though. A B because I think acquiring a player like Mike Brogdon is always a good thing.
Yeah, like to me, they're a playoff obviously they're a playoff contender. They're a top 4 contender, top 3 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Like they can be shooting for the conference final, no problem to me if the bench holds up. That will be the interesting spot.
Yeah.
Well, when Oladipo comes back, you're gonna their bench rotation will be Jeremy Lamb, McConnell, Doug McDermott, and TJ Leaf.
Mm-hmm.
Doug McDermott and TJ Leaf are probably gonna have to take a step, especially TJ Leaf.
Yeah.
To replace guys like Sabonis's production off the bench. They already have a great center in Miles Turner.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
And TJ Warren's a good pickup for them. I think TJ Warren's a perfect player for them. He was great. He was great on Phoenix. It's just, will he be that good somewhere else? Because he was probably the number 1 option in Phoenix.
Yeah. I mean, looks like he's going to be the number 1 option there too, and the Pacers. I mean, he'll have more help. Back. Right.
I think Brogdon will be number 1, and then Warren and Warren and Lamb will probably split one. It depends on Sabonis, honestly, if he can produce the same way against starting lineups as he did against the second units of teams. Because if he can, he's probably a number 1 option until Oladipo comes back. They'll have an interesting team. It's just how they do.
Yeah,
it's how everyone improves over this offseason for them. Because they're young. TJ Warren's 25. Brogdon's a baby compared to the NBA.
Yeah.
He's 26. Oladipo's still young. Lamb's a little older, but he's still young too. They're not that old.
It's a young team. That's what I'm saying. I think we're allowed to see what I honestly think. Obviously, I think they'll do well this season, but I think the big changes will come in the following season.
Oladipo's the oldest player on the team. He's 27.
Yeah. And we'll have to see how well the Brogdon meshes as well for this season.
Yeah, to me, Brogdon can fit into anywhere.
Yeah.
If you shoot 50, 40, 90, you can fit anywhere.
I agree.
So, let's go west.
Okay.
And
talk about it's a little bit interesting.
And talk about some of the West Coast teams.
Clippers.
Let's start with the Clippers.
All right.
Interesting offseason for the Clippers. Drafted Amari Coffey. They added Paul George via trade. They added more Harkless via trade. Drafted I can't say that guy's name. I'm not even gonna attempt it.
The rookie. We'll call him one of the rookies.
One of the rookies.
One of the rookies that's not Terrence Mann.
Yeah, his initials are MK. I'm pretty sure he's Canadian, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I'm 99% sure he's Canadian.
Good for him.
Fellow Canadian basketball shutout.
All right. I think, and who else? So we got obviously
Burlington.
Oh, Burlington. Okay.
Interesting. They also signed Mr. Kawhi Leonard, the Claw.
The fun guy himself.
The board man got paid.
And I'm upset that he left.
I'm upset he left, but you know what? Good for him.
Good for him, exactly.
Happy for him.
Then, last one there we mentioned already, Terrence Mann.
Yeah, another drafted rookie. And they lost Wilson Chandler, Angel Delgado, Gallinari.
Yep.
Shea Gorgeous Alexander, Canadian. Jonathan Motley, Garrett Temple, Sandarius Thornwell, Tyrone Wallace.
Okay.
They definitely brought in some guys. That's all I can say. And they're definitely an interesting team.
Yeah, they're definitely
Oh,
I mean,
they also re-signed Jermichael Green, which was he was good for them last year.
yeah, actually.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Zubac, obviously.
So what's your rating for them?
I give them an A minus.
A minus, A minus, and you give Brooklyn an A plus. So
See,
what
here's my
separates them
difference
from
between the
Brooklyn?
two.
Yep.
Brooklyn added those two players,
Mm-hmm.
got a draft pick as well with it. They got more assets,
Okay.
even while adding those two players. The Clippers added Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, and they gave away everything almost. They still have a lot of good pieces. Don't get me wrong. They lost Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who could be a great player. Dallinaro Gallinari is a good player, but obviously you're gonna take Paul George over Dallinaro, no matter what.
Yeah.
They got a first round draft pick with Mo Harkless though, from Portland, so that balances out a little. But they also gave up 5 first round picks and two pick swaps to to OKC, and one of those 5 first round picks were the Heat, which might be a good pick. Depends on how they mesh over there in Miami, and if they pick someone, maybe they pick someone else up to help them. But my issue is if Kawhi and Paul George in 2 years they say this isn't working, we're out.
Yeah.
What the hell are those picks gonna be that they lost out on? They have no future.
Yeah, they're literally banking for right now.
They're literally banking for the next 2 years, and they're hoping it goes well. So that's the only reason why I took away. Like it would have been an A plus, obviously. Like it's an A plus get.
Yeah.
But it's a risky move.
Risky move. I
like their depth chart is crazy, honestly. Like Patrick Beverley, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard. Like imagine stepping over half court and those 3 fucking guys are there.
Yeah, no, doesn't sound like fun at all. I gotta give them for my rating, I gave them an A, and the only reason I give them that and not an A minus is just because of the length they went through to get Kawhi, and obviously to get Kawhi they had to get Paul George, and I think I look at basically all the moves that they had to do to acquire Paul George and then to get Kawhi. Like Kawhi is obviously, he's a monster. He won the champion. He was a champion of the last season, Finals MVP. And the moves they did to get these players, I think it's just they made more moves. I think to get these players was a bigger move than I think any other team in the NBA, to be honest, because it wasn't as if because Kawhi had options. It wasn't like these are definitely one of the teams he wanted to go to. It's even actually one of the location he wanted to go to being LA. Paul George came out of nowhere. There's not a single person who even saw Paul George coming, but the Clippers made it happen. Like these are 2 stars. When I look at this team, the Clippers, like they forced this. They obviously they lost a lot, but there's no one. You're gonna look at this team and you can say, yeah, these guys can win a championship in the next 2 years. Obviously, it's a gamble, but that's why I give an A just because of the move. The strong. I think they impressed me with the moves they made. No one saw Paul George coming, and because they got Paul George, who is in his own right, obviously a fantastic player, because he got Paul George, they acquired Kawhi Leonard as well. And obviously they already have such a great team, even without these guys, to put up a fight against the Warriors, making that the historic comeback. What was it, the biggest comeback in a playoff game of all time? What was it, 31 points or was 29 points? And I think that's why I give them an A. That's just my opinion, though.
Well, I think they actually, to be honest with you, they added so many assets over the last couple of years just to get this done. It's actually great. Like Jerry West is phenomenal. Like getting Landry Shamet back in first in picks from Philadelphia was fantastic. Great move. Getting Lou Williams, amazing. Finding Montreal Harrell after the Rockets dumped him, awesome. Like their depth is crazy.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, they run 10 deep almost.
Yeah.
Roddy McGruder would be the only questionable player on the team for me, like out of their 10-man rotation, but he could play. He could shoot. That's the most important thing. Mm-hmm. As you got a great defensive trio with Beverly, George, and Leonard.
No question.
And when Lou Williams comes in to close the game, good luck.
Good luck if Kawhi hasn't closed it already,
Yeah.
man. I'm really impressed with they have just.
Honestly, I hope they're healthy. I would love to see the team healthy, and I want to see what they can do.
I'd love to
That's the
see.
only
Yeah,
question mark for them if they
yeah.
stay healthy.
I'd love to see them go head to head with our next team on the list, the Lakers.
Yes, the Lakers interesting offseason. Didn't get who they wanted. Well,
Yeah.
they got one player that they wanted, but let's hear what they added.
Yeah.
Ab- Bradley, Jesus,
Yeah.
third
Yeah.
time's the charm.
There we go.
Quinn Cook, DeMarcus Cousins, good old Boogie, Troy Daniels, Anthony Davis, Jared Dudley, Danny Green, Phelan Horton Tucker, rookie, and Zach Norrell Jr., another rookie. They lost good old Lonzo Ball, Isaac Bonga,
Yeah.
Reggie Bullock, Tyson Chandler, Josh Hart, Brandon Ingram, Mike Musala, Lance Stevenson. Lance will make them dance. Montreal.
Damn, they lost Lance. I
They
didn't
lost
even know.
Lance, man.
Oh man.
They lost
That-
Wagner and they lost Jonathan Williams.
Hmm.
Honestly, not a bad offseason for them.
It could have been a lot.
It could have been a
worse.
lot better, which is gonna affect their grade for me.
Yeah, I mean,
Honestly, they actually didn't do that bad. To be honest, they retained McGee and they re-signed Rondo for some reason. They
that's
keep paying Claudwell Pope. You know what? I had them at a B plus. I'm giving them a B because they re-signed. They keep paying Claudwell Pope for no reason. They're getting a B. That's it. That changed my mind.
I'm kind of with you there. I'm slipping between B plus B. I mean, they gave up so much to get Anthony Davis, but when you look at their roster right now, it doesn't look. They still have enough depth, and when they already have LeBron. LeBron's the best player in the world. Yeah.
I give the Clippers an A minus because they gave up a lot for Paul George, but they got Kawhi, so A minus. It balances each other off, right?
Yeah.
They give up a lot for AD, but they didn't get a Kawhi. They got little pieces like Danny Green's a solid piece. Quentin Cook's a solid piece. Man, DeMarcus Cousins, honestly, if he's healthy next year and he looks like he lost weight already, he's a monster if he's healthy. Troy Daniels can shoot. Avery Bradley, if he can not be garbage like he's been the last 2 years, is a good piece.
I mean, they also got, they got DeMarcus Cousins. I think he's not the same, but I think he's making. He showed a little bit of light in that finals.
It's hard to grade him because he didn't look great in the finals for most of it, but he looked good in some spots, which isn't really fair to say that he was bad because he was coming off injury and he was out of shape. Obviously, he barely played all year and he barely played in the playoffs. So if he's in shape and he's healthy next year, dude, honestly, that big three is better than the Clippers' big three. Like, who's the Clippers' third best player? Lou Williams?
No, I have to agree. I agree.
Like, who's stopping Anthony Davis and Cousins on the block?
And you know what? I mean, Danny Green didn't have a great.
Danny Green had a fantastic regular season. He shot 45%.
Yeah.
Postseason, not great. Tried to lose Game 6. Tried his best.
Not too good.
He tried his best to lose Game 6.
No, I agree with you. For me, it's in between a B and a B plus. I think I agree with you there. Like for Cousins, their big three, Cousins, Davis, and James. Like they obviously it's dependent on Cousins, but even still, I think Cousins and what we know he can provide as being an offensive talent, and we already know that they can provide the defensive. The defensive effort that he might lack, or because of his injury, maybe just effort in general. I think they can cover for that, and they even have depth. When you look at their second rotation there, Kyle Kuzma, I think he's good enough to start on a number of teams, but he's going to be coming off the bench. I don't know how he would like that per se, but if he's willing to put in the effort and maybe take a chunk off his minutes and still play there, I think that'll be a good boost for the Lakers. And I love JaVale McGee. I absolutely love JaVale McGee, and it's like you said earlier, it's great that they are able to keep him on there for this season and to play. Maybe I don't know if he would be a backup for Cousins, or maybe I don't know how that would work.
Well, to me, at the beginning of the year, you start McGee and then Boogie off the bench, and then you slowly rotate them.
That's what I'm thinking.
Until Boogie's ready.
And they got a bunch of role players. I'm not too familiar actually with how well these guys will do, but no, I give them definitely somewhere in between a B plus. I'm leaning more towards a B, but not as bad as like a lot of people were making it up. Like they did give up a lot for Davis, but they still have a lot of key pieces. They got Rondo, who only shows up for the playoffs, and I like Cousins. Like I said, JaVale McGee, and they got Danny Green. Danny Green, well, he's a shooter. He's a shooter. He'll
play
get the
D
job.
too.
Yeah, and he can play D exactly.
It will be interesting to see what they do to start. Like, obviously LeBron's the point guard.
Right.
But is Rondo starting? Because Rondo can't shoot. But LeBron can't guard point guards and shooting guards all year because he's gonna be dead by the end of the year.
Yeah, he snapped his groin in half.
And are you starting Avery Bradley and Danny Green?
It'll be interesting. I don't
it's a weird combo. Are you starting Caldwell Pope? You paid him. You might as well start him.
Oh gosh.
You might as well start him. You paid him.
Man, I don't know.
I'm looking forward to see them and the Clippers play. Honestly, like, how do you stop DeMarcus Cousins, Anthony Davis, and LeBron if Boogie's back to being Boogie?
It's gonna be fantastic watch. I mean, I don't. That's gonna be great just to see, because we have an actual same area rivalry in the Clippers and the Lakers. Like that's gonna be great for the NBA. I'm so excited to see those two go head to head. And man, Kawhi versus LeBron Part 2.
I love it. Let's see it.
It's gonna be amazing.
I just hope the Clippers are healthy, and I hope LeBron's healthy.
I hope LeBron's healthy, man.
Even LeBron... AD is a little glassy too. He's not total glass, but he's played the lowest games he's played is like 62. Mm-hmm. So it'd be. I think he'd be okay overall.
One thing I'm worried about, and I know it's LeBron, and everyone says he's timeless and age can't beat him, but I'm worried. I'm worried about how he's going to recover from that groin injury. Thankfully, he did take the rest of the season off, so hopefully he comes back to be LeBron. Even 85% LeBron would still be fantastic to see. But I'm hope the age. I hope he has still like 3 more seasons in him. Please, LeBron. Get 3 more. Pay all those nutritionists. Get yourself the finest foods, massages every 5 minutes, whatever it is. Get us 3 more years of LeBron James in the NBA, please, for this Los Angeles showdown in the Western Conference.
Well, speaking of LeBron, how about we talk about one of his old teams where he was part of the Heatles?
The Heatles, yeah, Miami.
Good old Miami.
South Beach.
They had a pretty interesting / good offseason so far.
They had a great offseason.
Well, we'll see about that. They added Jimmy Butler from Philly.
Yeah.
Good sign and trade. They had drafted Tyler Herro. Great draft pick. Honestly, great draft pick. They picked up the best Leonard in the league, Myers Leonard. They drafted KZ Opa. But they lost Josh Richardson, pretty big piece. They got themselves out of the Ryan Anderson contract, which is fantastic, and they lost probably the dumbest player in the league, Hassan Whiteside. An interesting person.
Yeah, I mean, what would you rate him?
Well, to me, I give him a B. But if they get Chris Paul, I give him an A-.
Ooh, yeah, that would be. You know what? Chris Paul's Butler. That's another. I love Perry.
And Justice Winslow, that's a pretty good piece.
I like it.
And Bam Bam. I like Bam Adebayo.
I would give him. I'd give him a B plus. I like what they did. I mean,
what if they get Chris Paul? What would you give him?
If they get Chris Paul, I would give him an A minus. Agree with same spot as you. But yeah. So when they brought in, I think the fact that they got Jimmy Butler, it kind of falls into the same category as Kyrie or Durant or just players in general wanting to go to a specific team because of the culture they've built. Jimmy Butler specifically wanted to go to the Heat because they kind of played that, gritted teeth, blood, sweat, and tears basketball where they try their heart out. They don't rely. Obviously, they have skill and but they play like dogs. They just want to get the job done.
To me, Jimmy Butler went to Miami to be Dwayne Wade. That's what he did. because he's good friends with Dwayne Wade.
Okay.
That's my idea, because it's so random that he would be like, yeah, let me go there to the team with no assets almost.
Yeah, but I mean, I think culture plays part of it too. I think that their play style. I think Jimmy Butler likes that. That's all Jimmy Butler's about. I agree with you there. There must have been some Dwayne Wade influence there. I'd love to see him get another piece, though. I mean, I think.
Well, they actually missed out on Westbrook.
They missed out on Westbrook. Yeah, that's we'll get to in a in a few moments. Yeah, stay tuned. And yeah, I mean, looking at JR as well, I think if they want to call this a successful, if they want to call this a off season where they're making steps forward to actually contend, not contend, but make a decent playoff run, they're going to need to get hot on the tail of Chris Paul and see what they can do for him.
Yeah, well, if they can pick up Chris Paul, it's a pretty great off seasons. They're honestly really contenders to come out of the East, because they're pretty deep. Like, surprisingly deep. Like, Miles Leonard, he's not great. Good backup center, though. James Johnson's still solid. Derrick Jones Jr. is okay. Tyler Herro, I think, is going to be a great player. They're going to Dion Waiters, the golden arm, the man with the golden arm. If he can like revert to himself, that's fantastic. But they're going to lose someone here out of these players.
Yeah, for sure.
If they get Chris Paul, right? Well, you would think maybe they won't. Maybe the contract's too big. Like, maybe they might just lose Gordon Dragic, right?
Paul has a ridiculous contract.
Yeah, they're gonna have to match salary too. I don't know how they're gonna do that, but we'll see. Like, Dragic is fine, honestly, if they don't get Chris Paul.
Yeah, Dragic. You know what? Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to see what the Heat does. I remember a player like Jimmy Butler. Like, Jimmy Butler's bound to make some noise over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see what Jimmy Butler can do over there. It's his team right now, so.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Like.
Yeah.
Well, there's not a lot to say about them because they didn't really do much besides getting Butler.
Jimmy Butler, yeah.
They had a good draft. Obviously, Tyler Herro was a good pick. They picked up Leonard quick. It helps. But to me, them moving Whiteside and letting Bam Bam be the starter is a great move for them.
Yeah, why?
That's their future. Bam Adebayo is their future. He's probably more productive than Hassan Whiteside without the behavioral issues.
Yeah.
And he's more efficient.
Yeah.
He's definitely, and he can shoot he can shoot the three a little bit. Not great, but he can shoot it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He's not as great defensively, but he can obviously improve. He's only 21.
Right.
He's young. Like, he's obviously their center of the future. And it's nice to actually see they're going to ride with him.
Yeah, no, totally. I think that they're set for the future at the very least. They have some young guys, and like we were talking about earlier, if they pick up Chris Paul, it's just gonna be even better. Chris Paul being a vet there, Jimmy Butler acting like a vet, I think it'll be a good fit there. Who knows? Maybe Dwayne Wade.
Could you imagine if Westbrook and Butler are on the same team?
Oh gosh,
the fireworks.
They would either go really. They would actually be fighting on the court. Either they'll be fighting on the court and winning, or just losing. But they're fighting on the court. They'd be fighting on the court.
Yeah, that's a war just waiting to happen.
Yeah, they're fighting. They're playing against themselves and their team as well.
Straight up.
Yeah, that'd be interesting though. All right. I mean, yeah, like we were saying before, not much really we can talk about the Heat. Didn't make too many moves. I'm happy
that if they pick up Chris Paul, that's probably a bigger move than Butler, only because they're adding another star.
Exactly.
Like, Butler itself is a big move, but if they're adding two stars at the same time, pretty big offseason for them.
Pretty big move. Now we get to move on to. I'm actually excited to talk about the Jazz. Actually, yeah. So that's our next topic, the Jazz here. Yeah, so they brought in, actually, one of the players we were talking before, Bogdanovich from Indiana, Mike Conley from Memphis, Ed Davis from Brooklyn, Jeff Green from Washington, and Moutier from New York, the Knicks.
Yeah, but they lost Grayson Allen, Tyler Canavan, Jay Crowder, Derek Favors, pretty big loss there, Kyle Korver, Naz Matulong, Raul Noodle, Ricky Rubio, Tabo Cephalosha, and Akipa Yuda.
Mm-hmm.
They lost some pieces, but they replaced them. Holy crap! They replaced them really fast.
This is one of the sneaky moves. This is one of the sneakier moves. I mean, because like it wasn't like they really acquired, the top level talent like the Durants and the Kawhis, but they acquired some pieces that will really make them scary next year in Bogdanovich.
Well, when they added Mike Conley, it was before the draft, so it was pretty under the radar. Like it was quite
that too.
Like no one really. Well, obviously people talked about it, but no one really thought of anything of it until recently.
Mm-hmm.
After they picked up guys like Bogdanovich,
exactly.
Like they're scary. Their starting five is scary.
Yeah, and you know
Conley,
what?
Mitchell, Ingles, Bogdanovich, Gobert. What the hell is that?
That's an impressive team. I'm excited. Man, I love the NBA is so exciting right now, man. Like we got all these teams that we have no idea what the heck's gonna happen. I legit could not even tell you what's gonna happen. All I know for sure is that the Knicks are getting to the finals. But we'll get to that on later.
Thank God Kawhi didn't go to the Lakers.
No, yeah, that would ruin it.
Because I honestly would love to see the Jazz play. I love Mike Conley. He's so underrated.
Yeah. I mean, people have been saying that for years.
I would love to see Mike Conley play Kawhi Leonard again in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, that battle they had.
Oh yeah.
It'd be great, but honestly their depth's fine. I really like Dante Exum. I hope he takes another step again this year if he stays healthy. That will be the question. Moutier was pretty good this year in New York, but that's because New York had nobody. I don't know how good Moutier will be.
Look at that starting five, man. Conley, Mitchell, Ingles, Bogdan. Oh my gosh, Gobert. That's crazy. That's a ridiculous.
Honestly, if Moutier plays like he played in New York, that's a good pickup for them too. Ed Davis is a good pickup. I love Ed Davis.
They have some good.
Jeff Green signed for vet minimum again. This guy, how does Caldwell Pope get paid and this guy can't get paid? I don't understand.
I don't know, man. I don't know. He's a good Utah man. He loves.
What did you give the Jazz grade wise?
I can't give him anything else than an A+. This is one of the great. I love. This is probably one of my favorite moves. I gave him an A+ for sure.
I gave him an A+ as well, but the only issue I had with them is they lost Derek Favors. I was a big fan of Derek Favors, to be honest.
They lost some pieces.
But they replaced them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I like the Ricky Rubio on the Jazz, but you know what?
You know what? After watching him try to guard Harden, I'm out.
That was...
You're gone, bro. You can't guard Harden like that.
You can't do that. Oh boy, that was tough. I remember watching that. I was thinking,
it's him standing behind.
What the hell is going on? Is he trying to chase Harden down for the LeBron block? I didn't get it.
Definitely interesting.
Yeah, it was something. But he's over there in Phoenix with Booker now, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, no, this is my favorite move of the offseason. Jazz making plays. I'm looking forward to see what they do. Donovan Mitchell is just going to get better. We know what Conley brings to the table. Teaming up with Donovan Mitchell.
I love Donovan Mitchell, but he has some ugly-ass shoes.
Yeah.
He has some really ugly shoes, but you know what? I love Donovan Mitchell.
Spider Mitchell himself, yeah.
Yeah, interesting shoes, man. That's all I can say. He's honestly Dwayne Wade now. Like he's the closest thing we got to Dwayne Wade now that Dwayne Wade's retired.
It's great, but he's like a Dwayne Wade that can shoot threes. I like it.
It'll be interesting. I'm excited to see him play with an actual point guard.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? Bogdanovich, don't even sleep on that guy too, because
Bogdanovich just can fill the net. That's
he really.
Honestly, I love Joe Ingles too. Great defensive player. Three.
And obviously,
he's annoying, and I love watching him get under people's skin.
And we know what Gobert brings to the table.
Yeah, what? He's gonna cry a little bit. He's gonna ruin some team's offense.
It's gonna be fun times, just like Draymond.
Get thrown out by the officials because the officials hate him.
Nah, no, it's gonna be a good year.
Yeah, honestly to me they're my favorites.
They're your favorites for the West?
Yeah, that's my favorite.
I don't know, bro.
I think they could beat the Clippers.
I don't know, man.
I think it's gonna be them and the Clippers in the finals, in the conference finals.
Really?
They're honestly my pick to win this year.
Oh man. Okay. All right. All
So
right. All right. We'll do a little show on that and our predictions of
that's just
how
a little taste. That's my pick.
little taste. Yeah. Okay. A little spice. Okay. All right. All right. Fair pick. Fair pick for sure. But
Well, let's talk
yeah.
about a team where they lost to one of their players, Derek Favors. The New Orleans Pelicans
Right.
had
This
a
is
pretty great turnaround, honestly.
yeah. It's an interesting case. It's
They
an interesting case.
they brought in obviously Zion through draft,
Yeah.
Alexander Walker through draft. They acquired Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, and Brandon Ingram through trade. Picked up JJ Redick and Nico Malarelli and Derek Favors through offseason signings.
Mhm.
And they also drafted Jackson Hayes. Great, looks great in summer league so far.
Mhm.
But they lost a pretty big piece in Anthony Davis and Julius Randle.
Yeah.
Solomon Hill left, Stanley Johnson left, Alfred Payton left. I don't think they'll miss them.
Yeah. No.
Bartans left,
They'll survive.
Boulette left, and Ian Clark left. I don't know if they even know who they are.
Yeah.
But to me, they had a pretty good offseason. They didn't trade Drew Holiday, which I was happy to see.
Yeah.
They retained they retained Ja Okafor. Ja's rolling out of bed to get a double.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Walk double.
double, and he rolls out of bed, gets the double.
What was your rating for him?
I give him an A+.
A plus, eh?
A+.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what? They
know
left
what?
in Zion, obviously.
Yeah.
That's part of it, though, to me.
But I think what's impressive is how they wouldn't give Anthony Davis unless they literally unless the Lakers literally gave away their logo. Like they got so much for Anthony Davis, and you know what?
They could have got a little more in last season. They probably could have got Kuzma too, but still good. Still good haul.
Still a really good.
Honestly, they're a scary team, to be honest.
I agree with you there. Like, what the heck, Zion Williamson around with a bunch of
Derek
a mixture
Favors
a mixture of vets and young guys too. Like perfect growing environment for Zion. That's just gonna be. I'm excited to
have JJ Redick come off the bench and start Holiday and Lonzo.
Yeah, I think you know what. I like the sound of that Lonzo.
Like JJ would be perfect off the bench. JJ Redick has never missed the playoffs. Never.
That's a good sign. You know what? If Lonzo literally just works on his shot too, and he can be I
love Lonzo. Like I think besides his dad, Lonzo's fantastic to me. If he's healthy, that's a great ad.
I like that.
Imagine the lobs of Lonzo to Zion.
I like Lonzo. What I like about him so much too. I like his defensive abilities.
Yes.
Like
he's all around. He's like Jason Kidd.
Yeah.
Obviously a little taller. Jason Kidd, but Jason Kidd wasn't a great shooter until later in his career.
Yeah, and I think that we can. At least he's attempting to get better, unlike our boy Ben Simmons.
Well, having JJ Redick there probably will help him. To be honest,
yeah,
sure, people like JJ.
I think honestly, New Orleans. If I were to make a pick right now between who won the trade between the Pelicans and the Lakers, I think the Pelicans won this trade. Won this offseason between the two.
To me, they win the trade unless the Lakers win a championship.
Right, obviously.
That's how I'd grade it.
That's fair. Because Lakers.
I like the way they drafted too. Like Zion, obviously they fell into.
They got lucky.
Can't really grade that, but Jackson Hayes looks amazing in summer league so far.
Mm-hmm.
Zion had an interesting summer league where he played 10 minutes and got hurt.
Already.
Honestly, he needs the work on his jump shot. From what I've seen, he looks like a football player playing basketball.
Yeah, I can't tell. Is he overweight or is he just muscle?
No, he's just that big. He's humongous.
Okay.
There's no way he can be overweight and be that fast and jump that high. I think it's impossible.
Yeah, he actually flies.
Like he literally glides.
Yeah.
He literally murdered Mitchell Robinson when he ripped the ball out of his hands.
Do you know if he's gonna be back for the season?
No, well he'll be ready for the season. He's just not playing the rest of the summer league. It's just a bruise.
Okay. Thank goodness. I thought this man
just died.
And he wasn't coming back. Yeah. Okay. All right. No. Yeah. Pelicans definitely give him. What did I? Did we grade? Did you?
I gave him an A+. I think I said that already.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I give him A+ as well. They just. I mean, they.
I'm looking forward to watching them play. Like I'm gonna watch a lot of their games this year.
Man,
the big question mark is Ingram to me. Like if Ingram takes another step, he's a great player if he takes a step.
I
Like if
think
any of those guys they got from Lakers, like Lonzo or Ingram, if they take a step, like that's scary.
that's the thing. Yeah,
The only issue with Ingram is what's the blood clot situation.
right. And you know what? The Lakers, they didn't want to wait for them to take that step. Like LeBron is just like, nah, they're taking too long.
Ingram at the end of the year last year looked amazing.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting.
I think
They also kept Darius Miller and H1 Moore, which are good pieces for them too. They're good, solid backups.
I think for them to be, to make a deep playoff run, I think the biggest question, one of the bigger questions for me is Zion Williamson. Like, how is he really, like how well he lives up to the hype? That's my big concern. If he's playing, if he transitions his game into the NBA, then I think you might as well slap him on as being able to make a Eastern Conference contenders.
Well, to me, they kept an old team, all NBA guard and Drew Holiday.
Yeah. They
added JJ Redick, great shooter, can fill the net. Like that's easy, at least 16 points off the bench, no problem.
Easy.
And they added Lonzo Ball, who has lots of potential. They added Josh Hart, who can shoot. Brandon Ingram has tons of potential. He could be a star. They have Zion coming in. Who knows what Zion will either be a star or he'll be your average starter. Like, that's his range. He has a great ceiling. Derek Favors is a great pickup. He can fill the basket. They have like a nice like Jekyll and Hyde effect with Favors, good offensive player. Jackson Hayes is a great defender. They have Darius Miller and H1 Moore coming off the bench. They're both good shooters. Like they got lots of spacing. It'll be interesting. Their defense looks solid. Like Lonzo and Drew Holiday is pretty good lockup. Ingram's lengthy. Zion, we'll see what he can do defensively. I'm expecting big things from him defensively. Even if he's not scoring.
Yeah, this season for them, or this off season for them, is definitely just a solid. It's not really controversial at all. We know it's pretty obvious that they just made such a.
How was David Griffin not a GM still? Like, how did no one sign this guy after he left the Cavs? Like, this guy's a mastermind, man. If Philadelphia signed Elton Brand and traded everyone away, traded all their assets away, why didn't you just hire David Griffin?
So you know what? I think that pretty much wraps it up for the Pelicans. They just
speaking of Elton Brand, let's jump in on the Sixers, who had themselves an interesting offseason so far.
Sixers. It is interesting. I like obviously
questionable is offseason.
Weird. It's a weird offseason. All right. So let's see. For the Sixers, they acquired Al Horford, the big man from Boston, Neto from Utah, Kyle Quinn from Indiana, Pell they drafted, Josh Richardson from Miami, Mariel Shayok, who was also drafted, and Matisse Thybulle, who was also drafted.
That's a big get in the draft.
Sorry?
That's their big draft pick this year.
Okay. What position is he?
He is, if I can remember. I'm pretty sure he's a small forward.
Okay. All right. And
actually, a funny thing from that is the Celtics told Philadelphia we were going to draft him. They were going to draft him if they didn't trade up for him. So they kind of forced them, like what they did when they wanted Fultz. They kind of forced their hands in the trading in the draft for him.
Oh my goodness.
Interesting. Okay. They had an interesting get. Like, they're pretty good get, honestly. Like, great get.
Great get.
Adding Horford. Even adding Kyle Quinn, who's not bad. He's a good backup center for them. Like, he's perfect for someone who can go in for Embiid and they don't lose too much defensively. Obviously, they lose a lot offensively, but not too much defensively.
Yeah.
They re-signed James Ennis. They kept him.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Scott stayed.
Mm-hmm.
They got Josh Richardson from Philly, but the way they got Josh Richardson is they lost out on Jimmy Butler. They also lost Amir Johnson, who can text from the bench from home now.
Yes.
Very important. Everyone cried a little bit when Boban broke up with Tobias Harris.
Unfortunate, yes.
Unfortunately, McConnell left, which they probably won't worry about. Greg Monroe left, the Moose.
Mm-hmm.
They lost JJ Redick, which is a big loss for them. That's a lot of shooting. That they lost.
That's for sure.
Jonathan Simmons left too. Simmons was pretty solid for them last year. Them re-signing Tobias Harris was interesting, giving him the max. I definitely would have done that, but they had no choice, obviously.
That's kind of weird.
They had no choice. No real choice.
They really couldn't lose Harris.
They're interesting. They're so big. Josh Richardson is their smallest player in their starting lineup, and he's 6'7". Honestly, I love them getting Josh Richardson. Like if you lose Jimmy Butler and get Josh Richardson, that's not bad.
It's not the worst thing in the world, that's for sure. I think what would you rate him?
I give him a B+.
Yeah, I give him a B.
Like they're pushing an A-. Honestly, I might give him an A-.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Al Horford. Like he might be the perfect guy to pair up with Embiid in your front court.
Yeah.
Great defensive player. Embiid can go off, and you don't have to worry about anything almost. And he can take the load. They re-signed Tobias Harris. They had to. Josh Richardson can shoot. He can play defense. And Ben Simmons can get somewhat of a jump shot from 5 feet out. He's pretty scary.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll be. Who do you think is the biggest factor there for them?
Al Horford. Well, obviously Embiid's health is, but if after that it's Al Horford. If Al Horford for the next 3 years is Al Horford, like as we know and love, who's stopping this team?
Yeah, no, I don't know who's.
It'll be interesting. The only issue with their team is they don't have a lot of shooting.
That's the thing. That is the question. I mean,
like Tobias Harris is gonna have to step up.
And Al Horford can shoot.
He's not a bad shooter.
Was it 35% from 3 last year?
Yeah, he's solid.
He's solid. He's a solid shooter.
Josh Richardson shot 36%, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, 35.7.
Heck, Embiid can get you the occasional 3 too.
Yeah, but that's not where he wants to be.
No.
Which is the issue with him and Simmons on the court at the same time.
Yeah.
They clog the lane a little bit. But maybe this helps that Al Horford and Harris and Josh Richardson will spread the court out a little bit more. My issue with their team, honestly, is their backup guards.
Yeah, I don't know who.
It's Zaire Smith, who's a kid.
And Milton, Shake Milton.
Yeah, Shake Milton, who's also a kid. Like, they're young. It depends what they get from them.
I think they probably have the same problem as last year. They have a fantastic starting lineup, but maybe their backup lineup isn't as good.
They will be a buyout candidate team to see what they do in the when buyouts happen. If they can get a backup guard, they'll be scary.
Yeah, for sure.
Because when Ben Simmons goes off the court, who's your ball handler? That's the thing.
Yeah, that's the question.
It's kind of scary.
I don't know. I think I give them a B. That's my B, because I don't see them fixing upon the problems. Obviously, when any team acquires a player like Al Horford, and he fits really well into the Sixers. It's a great move, but I think I'm not convinced with the shooters. Like, I'm not gonna look at this team and say I'm scared from how they can hurt us from the outside. And when I look at their second team, I don't see it as they've improved much of their previous problems from last year, being that their second team wasn't as they didn't have as much depth to compare with the other teams. That's why I give them only a B. I would have given them, like you said, if they got themselves like a really decent backup point guard, then I would have bumped that up maybe to an A-. But I just didn't see them improve upon their situation from last year.
Yeah, that will be the defining factor. If they can get someone that can shoot 3 off the bench and handle the ball a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
It doesn't have to be a great defensive player because they have defense everywhere except for Tobias Harris.
They literally, that's pretty much.
Well, let's move on to a team that's pretty guard heavy in the Kings.
I like the Kings.
I like what the Kings did. Honestly, they added Ariza, they added Dwayne Dedmon, Kyle Guy, rookie.
Yep.
Rashawn Holmes from Phoenix.
Yep.
Justin James, another rookie, and another Canadian in Corey Joseph.
Corey Joseph, my man.
They lost out on Corey Brewer, Alex Burks, Willie Cauley-Stein, which a lot of their fans are happy he's gone. Costa Koufos, Frank Mason III, Troy Williams, and Juan Gabriel.
Okay.
They pretty Kings off season. They had a very Kings off season. Very solid off season.
it's just because when you look at them, they're an up and coming team. You know, like they showed sparks of brilliance last year, and you know what? They have a young core that they're working around. And I think they did a good job of just getting pieces to help that young core just get better and better. And I wouldn't be surprised if they sneak a spot in the coming season in a surprising spot that many people might not expect.
Yeah, they also retained both. They also retained Harrison Barnes, which is a good to me is a good retain. Like
sure.
they're an interesting team.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to see what they do this case.
They have a new coach this year. De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, Harrison Barnes, Bagley, and Dedmon's their starting five. Like it's an interesting team. You got Bogdan Bogdanovic off the bench, Trevor Ariza, and Corey Joseph. So we'll see. Honestly.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. I think the Kings is like you said, it's a very Kings off season. I think it was. I mean, I can't say.
What'd you give them?
I mean, I give them a B plus B.
Yeah, I gave them a very nice B, maybe a B plus.
Yeah, because it's not like they definitely didn't do anything bad. I think they did the best that they could without making too many changes because they don't want to give up on their.
They signed short contracts.
Yeah,
so it's not like they didn't give up a lot. Corey Joseph's a good guy to have behind De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah,
like, honestly, good. They signed leadership in Ariza and Corey Joseph, and I like Dwayne Dedmon. He's a solid player.
You know what? Yeah, it seems like to me they made a lot of moves thinking for the future. They're trying to ride with their guys right now, just do the best that they can to set them up for success.
Like I could see them sneaking in as the 8th seed next year.
Easily, yeah.
Or the 7th seed. Like Buddy Hield and De'Aaron Fox were fantastic last year.
Absolutely.
And they're both young still. Well, Hield's 26, but they're still young.
They're getting better. They're only getting better. And
Bagley is a monster, honestly. Like
and Harrison Barnes
is solid.
He's been there and back. He's
just solid.
Yeah.
Like when you have two building blocks in Bagley and De'Aaron Fox and Buddy Hield, like you're set.
It's set. This is this off season that they did with it. They got the job done. They literally just got the job done.
Yeah, I was pretty pleased with what they did. Not amazing, not bad, just solid.
Right. No, it was all that they could probably hope for.
Now they for a lot of fans who have hopes, they would crush this year. If you're a fan of the Knicks.
I don't think they should have had hope, to be honest. But
everyone has hopes. But the Knicks and the Lakers are special kind of hopes. They're getting everybody. The Knicks went from getting Zion and Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving to some interesting issues.
So let's see.
You know what? Honestly, don't think it's that bad.
Not as bad as people are making it out, but
no, I thought they were pretty solid. They brought in RJ Barrett, Canadian, through a draft. Good ad. Ingus Borzagas, another Canadian from Michigan. I loved him in Michigan. He was fantastic. He's been great in Summer League. Good Canadian boy. Reggie Bullock, good shooter. Wayne Ellington, good shooter. Taj Gibson, good veteran leadership for guys like Mitchell Robinson and Kevin Knox. Alfred Payton is an interesting ad. Wasn't too pleased with it, but it's fine. They can't play Frank Nikita and Dennis Smith Jr. Just keep rolling them out. Bobby Portis, he hopefully doesn't hit anybody. Julius Randle was I love Julius Randle. To me, that's a good ad. Marcus Morris is a solid ad, even though it's only 1 year after he ditched the Spurs for some weird reason.
Yep. And you know what? They gave up. They didn't really give up that much, really. They gave up Kadeem Allen, Henry Ellenson, Billy Garrett, Mario Hezonja, Isaiah Hicks, John Jenkins, DeAndre Jordan, Luke Cornett, Emmanuel Mudiay, Lance Thomas, and Noah Vonleh.
Yeah, they didn't lose. They didn't have much to lose. Like to me, the only big issue they lost was DeAndre Jordan because he was a good
presence for sure.
Yeah, good presence for Kevin Knox and Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah.
But to get back to the Knicks at hand, they're interesting. To be honest with you, they're getting a lot of flack, but I think they made some smart moves.
Agree with you. I don't think they. Okay, well, I agree and disagree with you only because I think they did a good job from recovering and making good moves. But the only reason we can look at how good those moves were, or the fact that we can call it recovering, is because I think they put themselves in the bad position in the first place.
Honestly, I think if they signed Kevin Durant, everyone would still laugh at them. No matter what they did, I feel like everyone would just laugh at them.
No, they would. I disagree.
You think?
Yeah,
I think everyone would laugh at them for signing Kevin Durant because he's out for the year. It's just the Knicks, bro. Yeah. Everyone laughs at the Knicks. I hate the Knicks. They're a division rival. Fair. But everyone laughs at the Knicks.
Fair, but I still think it, like, if we're talking just trading terms and like the moves they made, I think if they got Kevin Durant, that would be a success. 100% that'd be a success. But only because, which leads me to the next point, they literally didn't do anything to improve their team. All they did was they cleared cap space, and then they said, okay, let's wait for people to come. And then when no one came, they're just like, crap, somebody get Julius Randle on the phone. And they just gave him a call and like, all right, get
break
over
the
here.
Glass in case Julius Randle is needed.
They have like a button that says, press this if Julius Randle is needed. Exactly. And then that's what they did. Oh, wait, what? Kevin Durant and Kyrie went to the Nets? Oh, damn it. Somebody called Julius Randle. And then they got Julius Randle. So, I don't know. I can't say, I mean, for my rating, I think for that, I would give them a B-. They didn't manage to get any of the big free agents, which is their fault, but they did do a good job of, maybe putting some duct tape over the cracks that they made.
Yeah, I gave them a B because they put some nice pieces around RJ Barrett to help him succeed and grow as a player, and help Kevin Knox and Mitchell Robinson and Dennis Smith Jr. grow.
Right.
Like Payton's a decent role model to have around. Marcus Morris is a good player to have around. Wayne Ellington can shoot. Taj Gibson is a great vet. Bobby Portis works hard. He punches people in practice. That's what you want in a player.
Build toughness.
Build some toughness. Punch Mitchell Robinson in the face. Mitchell Robinson got his headband ripped off him, thrown at him already in Summer League.
Nice.
He built some toughness.
There we go. That's what you need in the NBA. You need to be able to throw hands.
Yeah, no, I think they're fine. Honestly, I don't even think they're that bad.
Do you think they're gonna make the playoffs? They
actually might be the 8th seed. Like, are the Pistons that much better than them?
I think the Pistons have a good. I think the Pistons have a good coach.
I think the Pistons are kind. Nah, Fizdale's a pretty good coach. I don't mind Fizdale.
I like Dwayne Casey better though.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't think they're that far off. They're gonna battle for that 8th seed.
They're gonna battle for it. I bet against.
Depends on RJ Barrett. If RJ Barrett's great. True. They'll battle for that 8th seed. If Julius Randle is great, they'll probably battle for the 8th seed.
I think definitely RJ Barrett's in a good spot to be like to show the NBA what he's made of.
To me, RJ Barrett's either gonna have a fantastic time and grow as a player, or he's gonna be playing for the Raptors in 4 years. that's the two options I see.
Oh boy. Well, I think, I give him a B-. Yeah, it's not much really to talk. I mean, do you think? So you think if you had to say right now, do you think they'd make it into playoffs?
Depends. It just depends on. They're hard to gauge because they're young.
Yeah.
Like if Mitchell Robinson and Kevin Knox slump in their sophomore years, like it's hard to say they're gonna make the playoffs. Like is Taj Gibson and Bobby Portis, Marcus Morris gonna carry them there? I don't think so.
Well, we'll see. Have Marcus Morris. That's also
I like Marcus Morris. I think he's a good player to have around. He's not a good player to lead your team.
I forgot about Marcus Morris. I was originally gonna bet against them even though I still wouldn't say for sure if they would make the playoffs, but I was leaning more towards them not making the playoffs. But
it's good.
Forgot about Marcus Morris. So I think the fact that Marcus Morris is there, he's like you said, he's a great all-around player. He can defend, he can score if he needs to. He's tall, he's a bit lanky. You know what? I'll lean towards making the playoffs. And like you said, big factor RJ Barrett.
We'll see. They're fine. I think they're fine. In 2 years they'll try to grab another star and probably fail. And if they do fail, maybe their star is RJ Barrett.
Maybe their star is RJ Barrett and Julius Randle maybe.
Yeah, I like Julius Randle. And Mitchell Robinson's a good piece to build around too.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, all
around interesting offseason in total. but
they did
it
a
got
good
even
job.
more interesting last night when Westbrook got traded to the Rockets.
Oh my goodness, that came out of nowhere. I did not see that coming. I don't we don't have an entire thing planned for the Thunder and the Rockets, so we can talk about how we think this impacts the respective teams now. So we're talking about Westbrook to the Rockets for
I think it's gonna work fantastic.
future drafts. You think Westbrook and Harden are gonna hit it off?
Yeah, they played well together in OKC. They're different players now, obviously, but they have a background of playing together. Obviously, I think they'll be fine.
You know what? As much as I want to hop on that bandwagon and say, oh man, they're gonna I remember you saying earlier, jokingly, they're gonna need two balls. They're both gonna be chucking bricks and all that. They both need a ball in their hands. They're not gonna be able to work together. As much as they're both MVP players that lead teams. They need the ball. And so I want to hop on that bandwagon and say it's not going to work, but I have to agree with you. I think when guys want to play together, I'm sure Westbrook had, he had a choice, or he had what's the word I'm looking for? He was able
Options?
to give options. He was able to give influence where he wanted to go, and I'm sure he might have chosen to go to the Rockets, knowing he would play with another guy like Harden. So I'm hopeful. I'm actually looking forward to see these guys work together. I think they both, at the end of the day, they want a championship. Russell Westbrook's legacy has been on the line for the season for the last like 5 seasons, and I think at this point he's gonna want to make adjustments, and he wants to win. And James Harden, he gets he puts up all these numbers every single year, and I'm sure he realizes not many people are gonna hold him in the same regard as a LeBron or as a Durant without getting that chip, without getting that ring.
Yeah.
So they're gonna
To be honest with you, when Westbrook says I'm gonna be a better shooter next year, I'm gonna work on it, I believe him.
exactly.
He's that
He's a
type of
hard
guy.
worker. He's that type of guy. He says he wants to when he says something and he wants to work on it, he works on it, and he proves everybody wrong. My only thing is about shooting is it's a shoot at an elite level, especially at the age, what was he, 31? Especially at that age, my only concern is it has to be something I feel like you build up throughout your career. And that's not something that Westbrook has necessarily focused on. So I'm a bit more skeptical with how well he says he's just going to be shooting this season. I expect to see an improvement, but maybe not an improvement to say, okay, this guy's an elite shooter now. But I definitely expect to see some form of improvement. And even if not, I think he brings so many other things to the game, working with a player like James Harden, and on a team like the Houston Rockets, just going as he is, and if he's willing to adjust his play style, I think it'll be fantastic.
Yeah, to me the trade's an AO round for them, for both teams. Like the OKC got draft picks, what they wanted. They got an asset in Chris Paul, who they're gonna flip for more draft picks.
Yeah.
Exactly what they wanted.
They're in a good spot to rebuild.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
and the Rockets got a guy he's better than Paul right now, probably. He's a little worse defensively, but he's gonna add more to the team probably.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I have to agree with you there. And you know what? So where do you think this puts them you think this puts them as contenders? Man, that's why
I think the West is interesting between the Jazz, the Lakers, the Clippers.
It's ridiculous.
The Rockets.
There's so many potential.
Even the Nuggets. No one talks about the Nuggets. They were the 1 seed.
The Jazz
or the 2 seed. They're going in last year.
There is potential. Who knows what's going to happen in the West?
Yeah, there's five or six teams that can battle it out.
You can be sure we'll be there to cover it. Of course.
Well, that pretty much does it for us today.
Yeah. I think it was a good podcast. Covered a lot.
Pretty solid.
Probably one of the greatest off seasons ever.
Ever, for sure, ever. Crazy. Honestly, them moving the free agency to 6 hours before was awesome. Just 6 p.m. on the 31st was awesome.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm ecstatic. I'm sad. I'm sad that Kawhi left, but
I'm pretty excited to see what the Raps do next year. I don't think they're gonna be that bad.
No, I think they're gonna make the playoffs. They'll make some waves in the playoffs.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm pretty excited for the whole year as around. But that pretty much does it for us today.
Yeah.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening, and give us some feedback. If it would be very helpful.
Thank you so much, guys.
Bye.